And without any hesitation, everything we preach here is the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Once again, I congratulate Obaseki. Once again, I thank the governor of Cross River State. And I also commend those of you that stood up very bravely in Igodomigodo land, Governor Wike and all the rest of them, to ensure that the will of the people prevailed. I expect the same thing to happen in Imo State, albeit belatedly. I expect Imo people to also rise up and to make sure that Janjaweed slave, Hope Uzodinma, is no longer there. I thank you all for listening this very evening. And as always, do not forget what Biafra means towards our religion. And here on Radio Biafra is where we worship, because Elohim Adonai El Shaddai is our God. We are live in Benin City this very evening, a very tumultuous, a very victorious evening for those people of good conscience and lovers of freedom and haters of godfatherism. The people of Igodomigodo have prevailed, and that is a pointer for what is going to happen in Anambra State anytime soon. I don't know when that is going to be, but of course we are working and we are praying that Biafra will be here before then. I welcome you once again. And as always, my name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of IPOB all over the world, indigenous people of Biafra, the largest mass movement on the face of this very earth, exceptionally formidable, dedicated group of people all over the world working towards the restoration of the sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra in truth and every honesty. That is why we maintain assiduously so that we are whiter than white and whiter than snow. Nobody can contend with that. They understand that. And I believe very soon everything will be made manifest. I welcome you once again. I welcome you, each and every one of you. And we are going to pray. We are going to pray. This evening, as always, as we do here always, anytime we are live on air, we must hand over all that we are unto the Most High. It's a very short prayer. And I will pray in English language this very evening, not the language of heaven. And I'm sure that even the angels, when they begin to praise and to adore the creation that we enjoy today, which is the Most High, they will do so in the language of the ancients, in Igbo language. And because everything we say here comes to pass, not only that, everything you hear, every lecture we deliver, eventually, it is justified, as the governor of Cross River State have done very recently, to confirm what we have always preached, that the Ekoi people, the Jagan people of Cross River State are indeed Igbo people. I think he has gone to confirm that. That will be a lecture for another day, but for this very day, we must proceed very hastily to, of course, ask the Most High to be part of what we are doing and to hand over all that we are unto him. And today we are praying for all Biafrans who are persecuted, those who were arrested, those who were incarcerated, those who the Abia State government, the judiciary of Abia State are holding hostage. Because these are kidnapped victims. I don't want people to say that we've been arrested. We have been kidnapped and being held against the law because we have done nothing wrong. This evening we are praying and committing the family of those, their children, everybody who is in detention, everybody who is a Biafran and you're suffering because of what you believe in, because of your faith in the restoration of Biafra. We are going to pray. We are going to remind heaven that we are still here, suffering in pain, in a lot of turmoil and distress caused by the British for amalgamating the children of light with what is in essence pure darkness. And we must prevail, because darkness can never ever triumph over light. Heavenly Father in heaven, the Almighty Creator of everything that man can observe around him, you are a loving and a very kind Father. Your words are yea and amen, it must come to pass. We come before thee to place before your throne of grace every person, every father, every mother, every uncle, every cousin, every niece, every nephew, every child who has been incarcerated as a result of their belief in the promise that you made your children. That promise is freedom. We are not asking for anything that doesn't belong to us. We are not asking for anything extraordinarily impossible to accomplish or attain. All we seek is that which you have given to every living being, the choice to be free. We were trapped in the damnable zoological republic, not through any design of ours, but because of the colonial interests of Britain. And today, your children are being killed. We are being detained for no other reason than the fact that we dared to rise up to say that we want to be a free people. As we call upon your holy name this very evening, in Obibo, your children are being arrested. In Enugu, your children are being arrested. In Owaza, in Okwa West, your children are being arrested. All over the place, that one of them was beaten to near death. One of them was beaten to near death this very day by the Fulani Janjaweed terrorist army somewhere in Asa High School. You know, very, very sad indeed. But we call upon thee to have mercy upon your children. We are being persecuted. We are imprisoned for no reason. You are the Father, you are God, your Lord Almighty. Please, we are praying that you should be very close to every single one of them, each and every one of them who this very evening, morning, or night, depending on where their families are all over the world. Those who have loved ones inside the prison of the damnable zoological republic. For you to please have mercy upon us, because we have been confined because of our faith and our belief in Biafra. We pour out all that we are unto thee and ask for your life-saving grace into each and every one of them. Strengthen them and renew them. Give them determination, give them courage, and give them hope. Let them understand that freedom doesn't come very cheaply. And out of their suffering and their pain, and those who have been martyred in this very cause, shall Biafra be reborn. May your Holy Spirit permeate their being with your peace that surpasses all understanding, and may your sustaining hope warm our tormented hearts, knowing that we can only draw near to you, and that you are with each and every one of us, regardless of the terrible ordeal that we are going through at this moment. Infusing those of them in prison, those who are detained, including our mothers who are in detention, with a sense of your closeness and your presence. And may your holy angels of heaven be ministering to their spirits. May you surround them with your everlasting care and love and support, that each moment of every blessed day, that they may know that their pain and their suffering that they've been forced to endure in the British created hell called Nigeria is for your divine purpose to be fulfilled upon our lives. That this Biafra may come, that the world may rise up to say that indeed these are the children of God, these are the children of light, and unto them and through them shall blessing be upon Africa. Let your word be fulfilled. Let us adore and praise thy holy name in the land of the living, now and forevermore, we pray. He say, without further hesitation, we are going to move speedily ahead to what we have this evening. And I'm going to start, of course, predictably so, with Edo State and what transpired. Somebody wrote to one of us this morning to say that the media is indeed very powerful, because in Benin City right now, as we preach this very gospel of heaven, people are listening, and I'm sure they are rejoicing. In that very land of Idu, that very land this very day lived up to its name, Igodomigodo, the key that unlocks the key. In Edo State this very day, something has happened which before now was deemed almost impossible. Because the politics of thuggery, of impunity, the politics of there are no words to describe the politics of the damnable zoological republic. But this very day, that very key was inserted into the big key that unlocked the shackles of godfatherism and consign that little ugly monster, Oshomole, to the scrap heap of history. I want to commend the people of Igodomigodo because today you have demonstrated bravery, and of course aided by Governor Nyesom Wike, who of course is the only governor in the East that understands the meaning of incumbency and the powers that a governor can wield. I do hope that Southeast Efulefu governors may one day be able to learn from him. He has led the fight from the front, but we must not forget that one thing that persuaded the mind, the very decayed, corrupt, insipid mind of Alimajiri, Janjaweed, is the threat by the US government. In fact, the imposition of visa ban on most of them. That at least worked towards focusing their minds on at least not rigging the election too horribly. They tried to rig. There were a lot of people. The Supreme Court governor sent somebody from Imo State to go and rig elections over there. They caught the idiot, and they gave him the sort of treatment that I believe that he deserved. All of them descended. All the corrupt APC criminals descended in Edo State, but Edo people prevailed. Igodomigodo land, as a matter of fact, they prevailed. And they banished Oshomole forever and ever from the front line of politics in the damnable Zoological Republic. So whilst we are, of course, commending Edo people, or Igodomigodo people, as a matter of fact, we must also commend, because when they do the right thing, I will say it, we must commend the United States ambassador to the zoo, the US ambassador to Nigeria. For once, they did something right and in the open. If they had been doing this all along, the level of criminality and what I call government banditry will not be this way. Can you see what they have done? For simply banning election riggers, they now concentrated the minds of Fulani INEC and Fulani election riggers, including the aeroplane turner, to do the right thing in Edo State. That was why Edo prevailed. Edo State did not prevail, or Obaseki did not prevail, because of all the, should I say it, the very brave resistance that a lot of people put up. No, it wasn't that alone. What focused their minds? They thought to themselves, I'm not going to rig this Pastor Malam or Pastor Alhaji into power and then risk my investments in the US. They all have houses in the USA. So this very evening, we must commend the United States ambassador to Nigeria. She has done very well. She has done exceptionally well. And we want them to continue along this line. That's what we want them to do. If they do the right thing, we will praise them to high heavens and back. But if they fail to do the right thing, of course, we will castigate them, and rightfully so. So we must understand and recognize the genesis of this very heroic performance by Igodomigodo people. The very basic foundation was laid by the US ambassador to the zoo. And from there, the people found the courage, summoned the courage to do what is right. And it will go down in the history of the Zoological Republic that in Edo State, godfatherism was consigned to the scrap heap of history. Again, I know some people said that the same thing could have happened in Lagos with Ambode and Tifnubu, the arch criminal himself, with multiple names. His original mother died. He couldn't even attend the burial. Very sad indeed, but we'll get to that later on. People are saying that Ambode could have done the same thing to Tinubu, but without the support, without the type of pronouncement, the fact that if you rig election, you'll be banned from or stopped from going to the USA, it wouldn't have worked. There had to be a carrot and a stick, and that stick was that visa ban to the United States. That was what focused the minds of all the Fulani riggers and all the idiots, including the mask wearer in Asorok, that came out to congratulate Obaseki. And I'm also congratulating Obaseki, of course. Not that we're interested in the process of the zoo, but we hate injustice. So wherever justice prevails, we acknowledge it and we hail it. And this evening, the mask wearer, the presidency, because ever since we held them to account, they are now using Buhari's name. The dead Buhari, who is in a grave, in a shallow grave in Saudi Arabia, they're now using his name. And I also want to say, before I go into this, that this is also an example to those of you who think that you can go and they can turban you, they can tie bedsheet on your head. After tying bedsheet on your head, they say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. You come back and you become governor. Like Hope Uzodinma. It's not going to happen anymore. This is a very clear pointer. That means that any time that people in the zoo, that's entirely up to them, decide to go to the polls to vote, at least you now know that there is punishment for election riggers and those that promote election or political violence. They now understand that very clearly. And I'm very grateful to that. And I cannot stop thanking the USA for that, because they have now demonstrated once again that they are the conscience of the world. This is something we had expected the EU to do, is belatedly Britain now tagged on, and they won't even enforce it. Forget what Britain said, oh, we will deny visa to those who perpetrate election fraud and violence. Britain will not enforce it. We know that US will, because their legal system in the USA is far more rigorous than you have in the UK. Forget about the UK war. The people that actually turned the tide in Edo, the woman who did it is the US ambassador to the Zoological Republic, and we commend her for that. Thank you very much. And on top of that, they said it was Vanguard that published this. Vanguard said it's breaking. Buhari congratulates Obaseki, commends electoral process. These are the same bunch of idiots who put the Hope Uzodinma in power. A criminal that came forth, they put him in power. Now he is commending the electoral process. I want people to understand that this is what they do. This is the way they operate. They fall on a janjaweed. This is their mindset. They come to your house and they steal 100 naira from you. And when you complain too much, they give you 10 kobo back in return. Some of you, the Indomie generation, you won't know what 10 kobo looks like. 10 kobo is the single unit of the zoo currency. Naira is the bigger one in hundreds, and then you have in tens, so to speak. Because you have 10 naira, 20 naira, but you also have 1 kobo, 2 kobo, 3 kobo, 4 kobo. I think you even have, you have 1 kobo, you have 5, you have 10, you have 25. I don't know. Maybe it goes up to 100 kobo. I don't know if they have it or not. I don't think they do. What they have now is 1 naira, isn't it? These are the things I need you to understand. Fulani will come to your house and steal your 100 naira in front of you. You'll be complaining and shouting. And then they will give you 10 kobo back in return. And when you say, oh, how about the rest of the money? Your neighbor will now come up and say, no, don't worry. Why are you complaining? After all, you have 10 kobo. Why are you complaining? Me, I have nothing. That is exactly what I've done with Edo State. They want to give the impression to the world that they can run a free and fair election, and that is the narrative they will run with tomorrow and all throughout the coming days of this very week. So if you're foolish enough, if you're not schooled enough, if you're not intelligent enough, you will think that somehow INEC has changed. There is now a new era of transparent electioneering and should I say, vote casting process. Of course it is not. You know it isn't. They only made it possible for Obaseki to win because USA said if you rig election, you're not going anywhere. Because the Kogi State governor, they've already banned him already. Kogi State governor, they've banned him. Now, what I'm saying is that if the US and to an extent the UK, if you know that these people got into power illegitimately by rigging election, why are you according them recognition? Most of them were banned as a result of the 2019 elections. That means that if you're banning somebody for electoral fraud, implicit in that ban is that that person is guilty of committing electoral fraud. And anybody emerging as a result of an electoral system that is not transparent, that is not very clear, you cannot confer legitimacy on such a person or institution. If you have banned Kogi State governor from traveling to the US for committing electoral fraud, that means the office he's holding is illegitimate. That's what by implication. Now, if that is the case, all those that helped in the rigging of a mask wearer, Jubril, then into power, and they have now been banned from traveling to the USA. That means that the government of all these Fulani cabal in Asorok is illegitimate. And they said, Buhari said, oh, but according to that very news, the president's spokesman, Garuba Shehu, in a tweet on Sunday said, Buhari also commended the people of Edo State, the parties, candidates, and security agencies for conducting themselves responsibly. Can you believe that in 21st century? 21st century. They are celebrating Edo as if it was their own making, as if all of a sudden, Fulani Janjaweed have decided that there should be free and fair elections. Do you see how when I don't want to go too hard on black people today, because somebody wrote to me and said that the children are listening and sometimes they weep and they cry when I say things that I say about black people. And I'm saying it's not for those children, because they are going to grow up very intelligent, very smart, and very discerning. They are not going to be as useless as this very generation that we have now. But heaven forbid, no, they won't be that way. What I'm trying to say is that some of you will now go about jubilating and, toasting this very victory of Obaseki to mean that, somehow that democracy have now turned the corner in the zoo. Of course, it's a lie. As I said, remember, somebody came to your house and stole 100 naira from you. You shouted and you screamed and he gave you back 10 kobo, not 1 naira, 10 kobo in return. And you're saying he has done well. Nobody in their right sense or in their right mind should reason that way. He said, the president added, I have consistently advocated for free and fair elections in the country because it is the bedrock of true democratic. Of course, you saw people being disenfranchised. All of you were there when results were trickling in and INEC was changing it. They were announcing the results and the Atiku was winning, and all of a sudden there was a break, there was a pause. And once they paused, you're finished. I think they paused also in Edo, until somebody reminded them that America will ban us. So if you don't consider counting as America, there's a visa ban. I have a house in the US and I want to go there. I want to visit United States of America. That was what happened. So before you begin to clap for yourselves, you've done nothing. The person that saved the Edo State is the US ambassador in Abuja. That woman made it possible. So you get your facts right. And of course, we are not going to downplay the tenacity of Obaseki himself and also the role that Wike played. And I think there was one other governor also, a Yoruba governor that was there also that did very, very well. That stood firm and said, no, this is not going to happen. And for those of you that managed, I don't know how they made it possible. Somehow they managed to convince INEC that the results should be transmitted in real time and to a portal online so it won't be rigged. So from polling station, a portal online is making it very clear what the returns are on those polling units. So they couldn't rig it. But we are waiting for aeroplane turner. Maybe aeroplane turner. It go to Supreme Court. And those bunch of idiots with their horse wig, speaking Latin jargon, will tell you that that INEC failed to collect results from Iye Izamu stronghold. And as a result, the number of votes cast will now outnumber those registered with INEC as eligible voters. Do you now understand it? Do you now understand it? These are the things that people don't know about, that it is our responsibility and our duty to bring it to the attention of the world, that this is what is happening in the zoo, so that some of you don't go jumping up and down and celebrating, because I don't celebrate. A zoo is always a zoo. A zoo will always remain a zoo unless you rise up as we are doing to try to change it. Look at the people who are now telling you that somehow they now believe in free and fair elections, that democracy is good for everybody. It is the bedrock and all that rubbish. Look at the jargon from Fulani. Now, let me give you an example. There is a controversy ongoing about the appointment of 7 northerners into management. Now, we don't say northerners, I will say Fulani, into key management positions in customs that is in the south. Why I'm raising this is because if tomorrow now America says that there is no federal character in the federal appointments under this regime, they will change, or maybe appoint 1 or 2 southerners into positions. They'll tell you, oh, can't you see we have changed? Unless America rises up now to say that you must adhere to the federal character upon which all the constitutional stipulates regarding the filling of positions, at least federal positions, are equally rationed across the board, they will do nothing about it. I'm just trying to tell you, these are people that are telling you, oh, all of a sudden today, because they don't want their visa to America to be cancelled, all of a sudden they allow the DOE people to speak their mind. And if you allow free and fair elections, nobody of a sound mind can ever vote for APC. Nobody with their correct senses in their skull can ever vote for APC. They know that very well. Maritime stakeholders, including a veteran journalist, Elder Asubex, have criticized the latest appointment of 2 acting deputy controllers general and 5 acting assistant controller general of customs into management positions of the service by the controller general, Colonel Hamid Ali Fulani. And who are the people he appointed? Who are the people that he appointed into these positions? And from those he appointed into these positions, you will know what their plan is. Fulani has to be everywhere. That is the proper news you should be focusing on. Don't allow them to use a DOE state to deflect your mind or to divert your mind away from the very serious mess that the zoo is in. And without any hesitation, everything we preach here is the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. Once again, I congratulate Obaseki. Once again, I thank the governor of Cross River State, and I also commend those of you that stood up very bravely in Igodomigodo land, Governor Wike and all the rest of them, to ensure that the will of the people prevailed. I expect the same thing to happen in Imo State, albeit belatedly. I expect Imo people to also rise up and to make sure that that Janjaweed slave, Hope Uzodinma, is no longer there. I thank you all for listening this very evening. And as always, do not forget what Biafra means towards our religion. And here on Radio Biafra is where we worship, because Chukwu Okike Abiyama Elohim Adonai El Shaddai is our God.
Another Savior, holy, 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 Adonai Chukwu. Another Savior, holy, 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 holy.